Welcome to Business Prowess with Raphael and Juanita. Our show will bring you the best insights, ideas, and inspiration from successful entrepreneurs and CEOs in the business world. We'll talk to experts and business leaders. Don't miss out on the opportunity to learn from the best and stay ahead of the game. Sifu Raphael is the founder of 5 unique shows. He's a fitness professional, solutions expert, executive coach, and head instructor at Max Martial Arts and Fitness in New York. Juanita Cap is a public speaker who was in the ministry for 15 years. She has extensive knowledge of various topics such as leadership and communication, and has emceed many executive and academic events. Juanita is the founder of 2 unique shows. Her life motto is never give up.
Juanita, happy Friday. Thank you so much. Woo, we have some great stuff to talk about, right?
Absolutely. Good day, Sifu. Happy Friday. So happy to be here with you.
Oh, yes, absolutely. When we think about business, it's the concepts, it's the ideas, it's how do we get started? And I believe today we're going to talk about financing that idea, that concept, that startup, right?
Yeah. Absolutely. We all have to start somewhere. And the saying that it takes money to make money, that is the truth. We live in a world that has systems, and we have to abide by those systems. So we all start somewhere, and sometimes we just need that little bit of a nudge just to get that momentum and to start off.
Yeah. So when we think about financing, what people are doing nowadays, and some people, there's all kinds of businesses that start up. It could be a small mom and pop, little family business. It could be a speaking engagement that somebody wants to become a public speaker, somebody wants to become a coach. So it's a lot of things that can go into it, even merchandising, all that stuff. So when we think about financing a business, some people have done it on their credit card. And they go into debt.
That's a bit risky.
Yes and no. Yes and no. So when we think about what does it take, right? So sometimes you may have an idea, you may have a concept, and is it worth your while to say, you know what, I'm going to take, maybe your startup is as little as $2,000, $5,000, $10,000, and putting it on your credit card, as long as you have a plan. If you don't have a plan and you just go, I'm going to start a business, I'm going to use $10,000 and put it on my credit card, that's terrible.
That's not a great idea. But Sifu, I always tell people when I advise them, and when we talk about business, that you have to crawl before you can walk, before you can run. And, particularly the word entrepreneur means risk taker. And I've been posed with the question, what's my favorite part about being an entrepreneur? And I have to say, it's taking risks. Because to me, it helps me to grow every time I take a risk. So yes, it is a risk to do that. But as you say, you have to have that plan. You have to have that next step. I always like to have a backup plan. If something doesn't pan out, let's do this instead. And I've heard about people that actually go out, get their credit cards, take that money and put it in an investment, and then make that money roll and make it more, and then put it back into, their credit card. That's one way that has worked for some people. Maybe it won't work for everyone, but I mean, we're all unique. We all have unique businesses. So I guess it's good to try everything once and to learn in the process.
Oh, without a doubt. So one of my businesses, I started with a $20,000 loan from a family. Yeah. And in probably 3 years, I was making $500,000.
Fantastic.
From a $20,000. Not bad. Not a bad
strategy.
Investment.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I've also heard recently I heard Brent Stone speaking at the BLM, and he was really discussing, money tactics, wealth tactics. And one of the things that he mentioned was that when he started out his business with his wife, They actually took their budget and they made it really, really tight for a few years. I think it was 2 or 3 years. And with that, they accumulated a lot of funds so that they could scale. And they
Hmm.
were comfortable doing that. And I've heard of other people also doing that. So that's another strategy. If you only have a limited funding, to really tighten down your budget, because it's all about the vision. It's all about your goal. And whatever it takes to get there, we'll do it, because as entrepreneurs, we are passionate about what we do and we see the bigger picture.
Yes, yes. So, like I said, it took about 2.5, 3 years to go regularly every year and increase upon that 500,000. But it took $20,000, and even though it was a family member who lent me the 20,000, I still needed to prove to them that they were investing. It was an investment for them. I paid them back, but I also treated it like a business because it's family. I don't want them to feel, yes, they may have felt obligated because what do you do for your family? But I
Yeah.
want them to understand that it was a solid business decision on their part and they were going to make money because I said, well, I can go to a bank. I said, but I know you have the money. I'd rather have you make the money.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is how you're going to get paid back. And this is how much interest you're going to get back. So for them, it was an investment. But I didn't just speak the words, I showed them the plan. I said, I printed out a full plan. This is how we're making the money. This is step one, step two, step three. And then they were like, oh my gosh, you're going to make this money back in no time. I'm like, yes, I know. And I thank you for taking the chance on me. But you can see it's not like a whim. It's been thought out really well so
Yeah.
that we not only will make that money back, but we will shine and we will
Yes.
make it so that not only we're going to pay you back, but we're going to continue to invest in the business because for me, it wasn't just about money, it was
Yeah.
about investing. Because
Yes.
every time that we took money and you talked about how you had to tighten up, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
For us, it was, I didn't take salary for that first year. Why? Because that was part of my tightening up. I could have taken salary, but I did. It was a business venture that I didn't need to take the salary because I had something else. So for
Yes.
me, it was that concept of this money, I'm not touching it for a year. No matter how much money I make, I'm not even getting paid
Yeah.
because it was a project and I already knew what it had to be. And it was constantly going back into the business, back into the business. And that's why we were able to grow it. It wasn't super fast because I've known businesses that in a year have turned around and made more than 500,000. But for us, we had a good growth. I think,
Yes.
to go from $20,000 to 500,000 in almost 2.5, 3 years.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
I wouldn't say it's good. I would say it's phenomenal.
Mm,
And I love your approach, because I've done the same. And I always speak to new business owners, new entrepreneurs, and I always advise them the following: make sure you have a passive income, so that when you grow your business, you can either just let it lie and grow like you did, Sifu, or you can pay yourself a salary from the business. Because people invest their money into your business, into you essentially, because you are the business.
mhm,
And you want to give them that lovely interest. And of course, in your case, I mean, you ran that project so smoothly, ran that business so smoothly, they continue to invest. And that's the point. We want to build long term relationships with family, friends, colleagues that we know that invest in our businesses, because it's not a short term goal. A business is like having a child, it's like
mhm,
adopting a child, and you have to nurture that child. And what do parents do? They will always do their best first for their children before thinking of themselves. So, my
mhm,
advice is have a passive income, set yourself up for a passive income. that you know your expenses are covered every month. And then when you turn investment wise and you want to scale your business, either don't touch the money, forget about it and let it roll. Don't even think of drawing a salary. Or if you have to maybe fill that gap, make sure you draw a salary from the business so that it's controlled. It has to be a controlled environment, because we're talking about funds here. And when it comes to funds and we speak to people who invest in us, of course, their eyes and their ears open wide up, and they're open to discussion when they hear that they're going to receive interest, which is, of course, just fair because they're going out on that limb for us.
You talked about allocating money, and I believe in allocating money for unexpected things
Yes.
as well. So one of the things that a lot of experts talk about is having multiple bank accounts for your business. One is for your taxes, because guess what? If you don't pay your taxes, you're going to be in deep trouble, right? So one account, so a certain amount of the money coming in, don't touch it. It
Yes.
goes away. It's not your money anyway, right? So it goes away. So that's your taxes. You take that aside. The other one is payroll, right? So you got to take payroll, and you have to, because if you have a staff, you have to pay them. So that is automatically pulled out.
Yes.
Because I worked for a gentleman. Uh, I was actually I was doing it to learn, so I didn't need the money.
Yeah.
But I came as an apprenticeship, even though I had a couple of other businesses
Yes.
at the time, and the money didn't matter to me. But it came a time where he didn't understand money, and I was actually working. I was working part-time just because I wanted to learn the business.
Yes.
And police officers came in to the facility, and they said to me, "What's yours here?" And I said, that. I said, "Take your stuff and you have to leave. We're closing the business down."
Oh my goodness.
So what happened?
Yeah.
He didn't pay his taxes. He didn't
Oh.
pay his collections, all these things. So even though he got all the bills, so they closed him down. They put a sticker on the door. This business has been closed, the whole deal. He contacted me later on. He goes, "Okay, we're back." I'm like, "We're back. Okay." So he goes, "Come back. You can come back next week." So it took him like 3 weeks to gather all the money, pay his taxes. And then so we're back at work. And now he doesn't have money to pay me. So I said, "No worries. I'll still
Yes.
be here," because I was learning from him.
Yes.
But that's one lesson I didn't want to learn, right? The money management, that's not something I was there to learn. He had skills, and the guy was really skilled. He had great skills in something else, but definitely not money management. So for me, it wound up being 4 months he didn't pay me. So finally, I had gotten all I needed from him.
Yes.
And then I turned around and I said, "Okay, I'm out." He's like, "What do
Yeah.
you mean you're out?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "And you owe me 4 months." "Oh, yeah, I'll get it to you." Okay, so he didn't. So then I said, I took like a couple of months. He didn't pay me. I said, "Okay." He's not returning my calls,
Oh.
but that's okay. I had his wife's phone number. I called his wife, and she's like, "I didn't know anything. I thought he paid you." I'm like, "No, I just want to get paid." So he contacted me. He was mad that I reached out to his wife. I'm like, "Well, just pay me."
Yeah.
And then he didn't pay me again. So I reached his wife again. And this time she said, "I'm going to make sure he pays you." So eventually he said, "Can I make two payments to you?" I said, "Sure, no problem." So he paid me 2 months, and then 30 days later, he paid me another 2 months. I said, "No problem. I wish you the best." But
Yes.
when we think about getting into business, we need money management. We need to know that we are getting into something that is going to, otherwise, we go work for somebody else. Right? We
Yeah.
can work a 9 to 5 and work for somebody else. We don't have to worry about the money. So when I started a different business, I was already established, but I moved my location. And
Yeah.
I had somebody who said to me, I love what you're doing. I have $500,000. I want to be a partner. I said,
Oh,
great. I said, great.
yeah.
I'm not looking for partners, but
Mm.
I have $500,000. I said,
Yeah.
that's nice. I said, I if you wanna if you wanna give me the $500,000 and you wanna make money on it, fine.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
said, because yes, I have building expenses. I have this. I have to get this type of equipment, all this machinery, all this stuff. That's cool. That's fine. I said, but I'm going to pay you that back. But I don't need it. But I know that you want to be part of this. And sure, I can work something out with you. But he didn't want it. He wanted
Mm.
to have ownership.
Oh,
And
dangerous
that's
stuff.
okay. But I didn't want a partner.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I didn't want a partner. A lot of people go into a business situation with a partner, and I've done that in the past, and I got burnt by my partner. So, do I want another partner who I don't necessarily know that well? And he was an entrepreneur too. He had several businesses, but
Yeah.
I didn't know him that well. And even though we can sign a contract, we can do all these things. For me, I didn't need the $500,000 because I could have done it myself. I had my own money. But I said,
Yeah.
you know, instead of tying my own money, I can take his money as an investment, pay it back, so I didn't have to tie my other money. So
Mm.
money is how, because a lot of startups, they go to investors, and what
Mm.
winds up happening is they'll come in with investors, and then all of a sudden they own
Yeah.
5% of the business,
Yep.
and they own nothing. It was their idea, their concept, their drive, their work, and then who owns the business? The
The
investors.
investors.
Because understandably, they put the money in, but then
Yes.
they gave away too much. So if you're ever looking for investors, don't give them more than, I wouldn't even go 51. I wouldn't even
Mm.
keep 51%. I would give them small portions, but the
Yes.
business has to be worthwhile, right?
Mm. The
There's
returns.
all these different investors, angel investors, if you will, who come
Yeah.
in and they're angel investors, but
Yeah.
they're still investors. They want a piece of the pie,
Yes.
right? And
That's
how
the
much of
truth.
the pie are you willing to give away?
Yeah, there's always something attached to an investment. I agree with you, but before I go into that, Sifa, I was thinking when you talked about that person that you working with, that happens more often than people realize.
Mm,
There's many times that I've heard that I've mentored and helped people where they had the same problem, where there wasn't effective money management. And I always advise have more than one income stream, always multiple income streams. Do that for yourself. Do yourself that favor. Have multiple income streams and never put all your eggs in one basket because that is the wrong thing to do. You have to make sure that you are secure. If, for instance, in COVID, a lot of businesses weren't prepared for COVID because
mm,
they had all their eggs in one basket. I heard about businesses that closed down because of COVID and all the complications that there were. But then again, I heard of other business owners who scaled because they knew what they were doing. They knew how to manage money before.
mm,
So partnerships, that's very tricky. I'm also very weary of that. Everybody has a vision and an ideology of their own. And the business owner is the person, like you said, that had that dream, that vision, that direction. And the moment you bring another party in, it's bound to interfere with the essence of what was started, because humans are humans and we love everyone, but be very careful and do what Sifu said, give small percentages away. Don't go into a 50-50 partnership. It has the potential to go very wrong. I had a business in my early 20s where I went 50-50 with another person, an individual, and we bought, fixed, and sold cars here in South Africa. And at one point, he developed a substance abuse problem and he wasn't able to fulfill his duties anymore. And I wanted to buy his shares, and he didn't want to sell the shares to me. And needless to say, that put a lot of complications across my path. It brought a lot of obstacles. And I told myself, when I eventually closed the business and started something else, but I told myself I will never, ever partner up with someone 50-50 again, because if they develop problems, if they have obstacles, it ciphers through to the business. If they can't show up and be where they need to be and when they need to be, it's going to influence the business and the return on investment and the profit that you make. And ultimately, it puts so much pressure on yourself. So I wouldn't consider that unless I know the person very, very well, or there's more than one that we partner with, and there are small percentages that we share. I agree with you completely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get me wrong. I've done 50-50 partnerships, but it the details are in the clarity.
Yeah.
What do I do? What do you do? What is it that has to happen? And you have to put things in place. Like if you're not performing your duties, then maybe I can buy you.
Yes.
Or if I'm not performing, you can
Contract.
buy me, right?
Yeah.
So you can buy my shares, you can buy me out. But so if somebody falls, if somebody gets into a drug problem, or if they become abusive, or if they stop, let's say my part is marketing, right? And your part is sales, and sales goes down, something is wrong. We have to look at it, right? What's happening? And it's because the person says, we're doing good. I don't have to do sales anymore. But there's got to be protocols put in place
Yeah.
that this has to happen every month. This has to happen every week. This
Yeah.
has to happen every Friday. And we also have to understand the money, who
Yes.
controls the money. So you may have to bring somebody outside
Yes.
to
External
control the
support.
money, right?
Yeah.
And then also, I had money embezzled out of my business. I
Oh
had,
my goodness.
I had, I had several $1,000s, about $32,000 embezzled out of my business by
Oh
a
my.
partner. But it happens, right? So I,
Yeah.
I could have, I could have done where I pursued them criminally, but I said, you know what? I'm not going to bother. I'm just going to move away. And so for me, it was always about clarity, right? When we are looking for an investor, and a lot of people, don't get me wrong, listen, big corporations are always looking for investors
Yes.
to maybe a new venture, a new avenue, new things. But then we can also talk about, and you talked about it before we got on, sponsors, right? If you're
Yes.
having an event, like you're having an event, you're looking for sponsors.
Um,
I'm having an event, I'm looking for sponsors. Did I just say you're having an event? Why don't we go ahead and show everybody what event we're talking about? Here we go.
Dance time.
Every time that goes on, you and I are dancing in the background.
I love that tune.
Yeah. So you're having the Captor event. Tell us again about the dates and how could people sign up for it?
I absolutely am so blessed. Thank you so much. I partnered up with Alejandro J. Tornato, who I know very, very well, and we started the online Captor Connection conferences. And the second conference is just around the corner. It's 28 to 30 April, and it's from 9 a.m. in the morning to 5:30 p.m. in the afternoon, Eastern
Mm,
Standard Time. We have six beautiful topics that we are going to elaborate
mm,
on. We're going to, discuss it and share. It's not a monologue. It is a communicative and a discussion platform. We love to grow with people. So that's happening next weekend. And Alejandro and I are super excited. Topics that we are discussing: time management, the art of delegation, scaling your business, health and fitness, personal empowerment, and personal and business discipline. And these are all topics that we have to stay on top of because the markets keep developing, the areas of expertise keep evolving and expanding, and we have to know what's happening out there so that our businesses can stay contemporary. So thank you so much. That's $97 for all 3 days. And of
wow.
course, we love community upliftment, and you can PayPal that amount to info@cityonahill.co.za. We'll pick up your name and we'll send you the link for the conference.
Awesome. That is awesome. So when we think about having somebody even sponsor an event, right?
Yes.
What is the benefit for a person to sponsor whether it's an event, a gala, an opening? Because people sponsor all kinds, a book launch, um, a perfume launch, clothing launch,
Yeah.
whatever it is, an event, an in-person event, a virtual event. What is the benefit for someone to sponsor?
I think that the benefits of sponsoring is actually very underrated. I don't think people realize the exposure for
Mm,
your business, the marketing that explodes on your side of the arena when you do sponsor events.
right.
And not just the marketing, but also the fact that that really leads to future collaborations. So when people reach out and and they want you on as a sponsor, it's not because they want to take your money or they just want to evolve themselves or elevate themselves. Really, a sponsorship is very important for your business because the moment that you are sponsoring a lot of events or people or institutions or corporate events, you are putting your business out there, and people see that you are someone who's open to collaborating, someone that wants to learn about their business, and it really opens a lot of doors. I see a lot of the CLA members, for instance, in the Connected Leaders Academy, sponsoring each other's events. And it's not that you are always just going to sponsor, it's that they are going to start sponsoring your events as well. And from there, the traction is gained and the momentum. And who knows what doors will open and what opportunities will present themselves.
Ah, beautifully said, beautifully said. And we put the link up there. PayPal, it's just $97 to info@cityonahill.co.za.
That's
So
it.
when we think about going to an event, one of the things that's important for me is also about being in the room with like-minded people.
Yes.
One of the things that everybody and their mothers talking about, the 5 people in your influence, 5 people. What if you were to make 5 times 5? What if you
Mm-hmm.
had 10 people?
Yeah.
But in reality, if it's 3 in the morning and you're not feeling well, which one of those people can you call?
Mm,
That's the
good
question.
question. I like it.
Juanita, you can call me, but we're so far away, it would be hard for me to help you. But I can definitely, talk you through anything. So, you can
Absolutely.
definitely always call me. You know that.
Thank you, Sifu. Same to you as well. I know if I call on you, you are always there for me, uplifting me, and always just investing into my life, your knowledge and experience. So I appreciate you.
Mm.
And yes, we are far apart, but luckily the internet connects us until, we meet later in the year again. And thank you. I'm so blessed to have you as a part of my life.
Yeah. Cool. Cool. Good stuff. So the other thing that we definitely know, and I know you started putting it on the CLA and putting it on your things, that you're going to
Yes.
be a speaker come May 12th.
I can't
It's the
wait.
pre version of what's
Yes.
going to happen in July. Can we share July?
Let's do that.
Okay.
Heroes Rising Apex is the highly anticipated business event of the year. This gathering of industry leaders, entrepreneurs, authors, and visionaries promises to be a game-changing experience that will inspire, educate, and provide networking opportunities. Get ready to immerse yourself in a world of innovation, strategy, and collaboration as we embark on an unforgettable journey of learning, growth, and success. Join us in New York on July 14th through the 16th. Go to heroesrisingapex.com for tickets.
Definitely come join us. It's going to be so much fun. I am so excited. I literally have people coming to this event from all over the world. I got people from Brazil, Argentina, New Mexico, Canada, here in the US. You're coming from South Africa. But even on May 12th, and I know we didn't put May 12th here, but anybody who's interested, DM me, DM Juanita. She's going to be a speaker. We will send you the link. We only have 250 spots. I already have, I think, I don't know, a bunch of people already signed up for it. So May 12th, it's actually free. What? It's free. It's going to be free for everybody, but we only have 250 spots.
Yeah.
And when we think about business, when we think about finances, when we think about starting something new,
Yeah.
wouldn't it be great to have the right people in your corner? Wouldn't that be
Yes.
awesome?
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. And that only happens through relationship building. It really only happens by getting to know someone very well, where you know that you know that you know that you can trust that person and they have the same heart for business and for other people and for what you're doing. So it is possible. It's not impossible. But first, make sure that you do your homework and that you get to know the people that you work with. You want the right people in your corner, people that believe in you, people that believe in what you are doing, and people that will support you, that will lift your hands up in the tough times, because businesses have good and tough times. It's not always an easy ride. And I always tell people to think of money not as something that we emotionally attach to. Think of money as a tool, it's a building block. The moment you detach yourself from money, and I've heard that in a previous discussion this week as well, I've been saying it to people for years as well. That's the moment when you start really to utilize money to its full potential, when you're not emotionally attached to it.
That's an important tip, because you don't want to be emotional when it comes to business. Business is business. And sometimes people mistaken that, and they'll hire family. And then family, as much as they love you, they'll take advantage too. They'll go,
That's it.
"Oh, I'm going to come in late today. It's my uncle, or it's my whoever. It's my aunt." Or they'll understand. If you do that in a regular job, no, they don't
Good.
understand. So if you hire family, and we can do a whole topic on family businesses, but we can talk about, when you hire family, you have to let them know, hey, listen, this is my business and I treat it like a business. And I need you to understand that even though I may be your uncle, or I may be your cousin, or I may be your brother, or your mother, or whatever,
Yeah.
if you don't perform the duties like any other employee, I
Yeah.
will have to let you go. No hard feelings,
No,
but
nothing
it is
personal.
business.
Yeah. I
Business is
agree.
business, right?
Business is business, and the wheels have to keep turning. And we can't do that if the person that's supposed to be there is not doing what they're supposed to do. So it's a hard and difficult decision. I've had to do that previously. I've had to let go of some people because they were not pitching up the way they were supposed to pitch up. And it's not an easy decision, but it has to be done because there's a lot of moving parts, a lot of things are happening. And of course, always done in love, always done with dignity. But if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. And if the person doesn't fulfill their duties, it's just a normal business relationship, then the business has to take action on their part.
Oh, yeah. When one of my sons wanted to work for me, I said, okay, guess what? You're not going to sit back. You're actually going to start cleaning the toilet. They're like, what? Me? I'm like, you want to start? You want to learn the business? This is how we do it. I said, listen, I don't mind cleaning the toilets. I hire people to do it. I have other people who do it. But do you want to understand how to run a business? Because even if you hire somebody to do something for you and they don't show up, you have to do it. Right? So when we invest in our business, when we put our money into it, because if you have a restaurant and the chef doesn't show up, so you should know how to make the food as well.
Yes.
Or if a waiter doesn't show up, you're going to go, yeah, we're just short a waiter. And guess what? Your customers are not going to be happy. So you may have to be the waiter that day. You may have to be the busboy, the bus girl, however you want to say it, right? But you have to step up to that role. And if you don't know how to run every role of your business, then you're gonna have a hard time sometimes.
Yes, that's the truth. That's the truth. I was thinking when you talk about the toilet cleaning, I don't know how many toilets I've cleaned in my life in the ministry. Before I got to a place where I could get people to do it for me. And it's true what you say, Sifu. We have to know what's busy happening in every single part of our business, even on our websites. If we are not skilled to fix a little error ourselves, if someone is not available, that's a big problem. And I also found that people, I would like to use the phrase familiarity breeds contempt, because sometimes people think they are skilled in that area and you don't know anything about it. And, that really, it brings a negative element into the relationship when they feel that the business owner is not skilled. So that's a wonderful thing about just starting out and doing everything yourself, because by the time you employ people, you know how to do it, but of course you are delegating because you're scaling all the time. So I agree with you completely.
Yeah, and then you already have the SOPs, right? Juanita, this has been a lot of fun. I know we're cutting the show a little bit short today, but man, great content that we talked about. I know next week we're having another amazing show. Do me a favor, Juanita, as always, have yourself an exceptional day.
Thank you, Sifu. You too. See you soon.
Okay, see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.